So I was leading a small group. I was a small group leader at a summer camp, and there's this kid named Kyle who is kind of goofing off every small group and slept through one, maybe two of the small group sessions. And so I was like, oh, this kid. But towards the end of camp, he becomes a believer. And so kind of reinforcing me like, I don't know what God is doing in someone's heart. I can just do what he's called me to do and trust him to do what only he can do. And so that was kind of a turning point in my, I guess, how I prejudged some of the students that I would be ministering to.
Hey, welcome everybody to the Deep Discipleship Training Cast. And today we have as my special guest, Eric Ballard, who is the publisher of Deep Discipleship and who I've gotten the chance to work with for the last few years and who I think is the best publisher in all of youth ministry.
I'll take it.
And
Thank you.
I'm not just saying that. I think that is actually really true. But we are here today to talk about Built Different, our summer camp curriculum. I know it's not just a curriculum, it's a whole summer camp kit. It's everything you would possibly need for summer camp. And I also think, and I know this sounds like I just keep saying this, but I also think it's the best summer camp curriculum out there, because I think we took a look at a lot of the summer camps that were available and we wanted to make something that was fantastic. So Eric, before we talk Built Different, tell me what is, you grew up a Christian kid. Tell me your favorite summer camp story. I got a lot of them. I want to hear yours though.
Oh, favorite. So I was leading a small group. I was a small group leader at a summer camp, and there's this kid named Kyle who is kind of goofing off every small group and slept through one, maybe two of the small group sessions. And so I was like, oh, this kid. But towards the end of camp, he becomes a believer. And so kind of reinforcing me like, I don't know what God is doing in someone's heart. I can just do what he's called me to do and trust him to do what only he can do. And so that was kind of a turning point in my, I guess, how I prejudged some of the students that I would be ministering to.
Yeah. You get in trouble every time you prejudge a kid, don't you?
Yeah. Oh gosh, had no idea what I was talking about. Just no clue.
Okay, your summer camp story was way more spiritual than my summer camp story.
That's because I'm more spiritual than.
That's quite possible. I grew up. My dad was believed in camping. He was a former youth pastor.
Oh,
He just
yeah.
believed in camping. So I went to camp starting third grade. My dad had a policy. He would pay for half. I would pay for half. So I had to hustle. The camp was all part of my dad's development plan.
In third grade, you're
yeah.
in half your.
Oh yeah, I remember my dad coming into my room during third grade and being like, "Hey, good news, you're going to summer camp. Bad news is you're paying for half. You better start hustling." I was mowing lawns, doing newspapers. But yeah, I went to this camp. I went to 3 different camps: Honey Rock, Phantom Ranch, and Timberley, all in the Wisconsin. Grew up in the Chicagoland area. So I'm at Phantom Ranch, which was my favorite. I'm sorry to everybody else, but I loved it. And I wanted to be camper of the year so bad. So you had to memorize verses, you had to play sports, you had to do all these activities. Well, a big part of the points were track and field events. Well, look at me, I'm not a track and field guy. So I was the king of tetherball.
All right.
Ping pong. I won that every year. Shuffleboard, and then Bible. I used to be in the back.
So the most athletic events are the ones you dominated at: ping pong, tetherball, shuffleboard.
I-band coordination I was king of. So I still sometimes I would rent Phantom Ranch as a youth pastor, take my kids there, and I'd be like, this tetherball right here, I spend hours. But anyhow,
I'm going to dominate.
I love camp. I just love camp. I would go 2-3 times a summer to different camps. I loved them. So anyhow, but summer camp's a big part
That's
of
awesome.
my heart. I think it's where we reinforce everything that a youth pastor is going to teach in the fall. And I think that's the beauty of summer camp. So, okay, why did you want to make, because it was really you who came to me and said, we got to make summer camp. It was all you. I was like, I don't know, but you were like, I want to make summer camp. So why'd you want to do it? Be honest.
You mean besides the money that we were going to make from this?
If it was for the money, why would we be giving it away for free? But yes, the money. It was all about.
It's not a good business
No,
decision.
it wasn't.
Other than the
Wasn't a
money.
good business.
See, reasons why is one, we want to help busy youth pastors in the summer. Like anyone that's been in youth ministry knows summer is just crazy, crazy busy. So want to help that.
Can I just say
Um,
something about that?
while
I think a
summer,
lot of times
yeah, yeah,
we're busy with the forums, we're busy with the travel, we're busy with the logistics, and at the last minute we're like, hey, we should make this camp like intentional. And so with this, you're way ahead of the game, right? Yeah.
right. And that leads to the next. Camp is meant to be fun, and certainly it should be. You just talked about all the fun you had in tetherball and ping pong. Um, but it shouldn't come at the cost of spiritual development for the students. And so, like you said, we want to be intentional there. And then I guess the overall hope is that students will engage in a way that God changes their hearts. They're changed at this camp and hopefully go home and start allowing God to change their schools and their neighborhoods and the teams they play on through the difference he's made in their
Yeah,
lives.
every time I say this all the time. Every time you put kids in a van and drive them outside of town, God's got a chance to do something really radical in their life because the distractions go away and they're listening
Right.
and the community of faith around them. I know, I agree. So camp plays a big role. And I think when we help youth pastors make camp great, we actually help them make their youth groups great. And we
Yeah, and when everything is provided for them like this, they don't have to worry about what's next or what I got to do. Like everything's already planned out. They can just kind of be intentional about their relationships, which, man, is super unique during camps, retreats. I mean, that bonding that happens is special to
It
camp.
is. It is really special. And I'm just kind of thinking back. I'm just picturing the men in my life at camp who built it and they just see in
Yes.
their faces, right? No. Okay. So why built different? What is the spiritual focus of this camp? We've been talking about this, about the impact that Christ can make in the life of a student during camp. So why did we choose the theme built different and what is the spiritual focus?
Yeah. So if you read through the Gospels, you see that Jesus never said or did what everyone kind of expected him to do. Like he lived differently. And we are called to be like Jesus. We're called to live different. But that is not our default, right? We naturally want to be like everyone else. And so we need to be built different to live differently, become this new creation, I guess, as the Bible says. And so this isn't something we can do on our own. We have to have Jesus to do this. We have to depend on God and his grace to change us, to kind of mold us to be more like Jesus than who we are right now. And as he's working on us, God has built us for a reason. He's made it, we're his workmanship for these good works that he has planned for us, but we can't live that out unless we live by how he guides us. And so it's a process. Being built different is a lifelong journey of following
Yeah, I
Jesus.
love this topic. I think our students are living in a world that is a dying culture that is bringing them death through what it
Right.
wants to sell them, what it wants to tell them, and we want to tell them they're built different. They're built for something different. They're built for life, for joy, for a
Right.
relationship with Christ, for knowing the Creator and the one who saved them. I think,
Life to the
yeah,
full.
life to the full, right? And I think grace is one of the hardest things to understand when you're a kid because everything you get, you work for, right? So this
Hmm.
grace is something I don't know. I look back on my youth ministry days, and if I have one regret, it was that I didn't teach grace well enough. I didn't really drive it home enough with my students so that they would understand that God's gift was really free to them, that His death and resurrection brought for them a new life, and that they could live in it and be raised up and live a new life in it in a way that brought them incredible joy and satisfaction. Because I think satisfaction is what students are looking for, and they're not finding it in the world. And the fact that we're
Yeah. Well, that grace is such a hard, I mean, like you said, everything, even friendships at that teenage level is earned to some
right,
degree. So the idea of grace is so
right,
foreign.
right. And I driving that home. And then the idea that they're made to do great things, that they're built differently for a reason. I always am amazed as a Christ follower that is when we come into a relationship with Christ, we don't go right to heaven. We stay right here to do His work and His will, and that'll be part of the Q&A session and the orientation when I get to heaven. That'll be probably my first question. Why did you choose us to do this work? Right?
Actually, your first question should probably, how did I get here? What did,
Yeah, That probably would actually be one of my. Okay, so how many lessons, how many small groups, what do we have in here? Because every youth pastor does camp a little different. How did we do this? What options did we give them? What do they have?
All right, so we created something actually to give them way more than they could possibly use. We came up with a time of 8 large group sessions where the large group talking points outline, it is all there for the speaker if you're bringing in one, or if you as a youth pastor are going to do it. We've got 8 sessions there, and then we've got 8 small group sessions as well. Again, that's a lot.
Yeah, like
of
when do
church
you play
time. And
tetherball?
so
And you're going to be.
sorry.
But these are
So you
optional,
kind of pick
right?
and
These are
choose.
optional.
Yes, that's right. You tailor this to fit your students, which is a beautiful thing. And so and in these times, they're not just informational stuff. We have application in the small group so that transformation actually happens if you start to do what you said, as James, Jesus' half brother, said. You don't just listen to it, actually do it. And so we give them opportunities for that to take place.
Awesome. And that's a hallmark of deep discipleship, is application is built right into our strategy. So you've got to apply God's word to build your house on the rock. So I appreciate that. Okay, what else? What are the extras? What are some of the extra things that come? Because I know there's a lot that comes with this.
Yes. Okay. So, oh gosh, all the extras. Recreation stuff, we got that covered during the day. We got all your large group games for every day. Guides on how to play them, shopping list for stuff to get. We also have late night activities for every night.
S'mores?
After all the
S'mores?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can use s'mores
with Reese's. That's my new favorite thing right there.
I haven't tried
Man,
it
is it
yet,
good.
but I've heard great things. And for those of us, you might have been different when you were a youth pastor, but I did not have a lot of administrative skills. And so what we've included here is all the forms. They're all customizable. Your chaperone applications, your camp registration, medical forms, suggested camp schedules, form after form after form. If that's what you need, it is all in there. And then we also have some breakout options. This is something towards the end of my youth ministry, I started including these breakout sessions that students could choose what they wanted to do. And so if that's something you want to include, awesome. If not,
wow,
you don't have to. Yeah.
Wow.
So
it's got everything.
Some youth pastors like to have a good chunk of free time in their day, and that's cool. But if not, if you're one of these, like, I want to make the most of every day, we also have these breakout sessions that you can lead for students to kind of, or you can substitute those in for some of the small groups. Like I said, it's a lot of flexibility here.
Sounds like a lot of content, which is usually a hallmark of a deep discipleship product, is we usually give a lot more than you can use. So hopefully every youth worker gets it, that it's optional. You pick and choose what you want, but man, everything is there so that you can have a great camp. Okay. So here's my last question for you, because we're way over time already, like usual, everything. What's your favorite part of Built Different? What is it?
It would be one of two things. Either number one, the flexibility. I love the optional ways you have to do this, because when you sign up to go to a camp like the 3 you did, it's mostly awesome. But as a youth pastor, there's always some things you're like, I would have changed this. I would have done this a little differently. And so having the flexibility to tailor this to my specific students is an awesome thing. And so it's either that or the late night activities. I really like how these are designed to be intentional fellowship builders, not only between the students, but getting your adult leaders to really capitalize on the time they have at camp. And so that is huge, because the relationships there built can last, as you said, kind of just lead you into the fall and beyond, sets your small group leaders up for success for the year. So one of those two things.
I love that. I love the flexibility, and I love the impact that it can have 6-8 months down the road. So, all right. Thank you, Eric. Thanks for putting this together. Thanks for this idea.
Yeah,
this idea was great. I love it. I love what you've created and made. I think the logo's super cool. T-shirts are even available, I think, at Sunday Cool and the Leader Trek store. You can get those. Hey, youth pastors, download it. Check it out. Or take a look around.
It's free.
Yeah, take a look. I think you're going to love it. And I think it's going to be for you something that you're gonna think is great. Now, if you've got Deep Discipleship 3 or 4, it's in your system. You've already got it in there. If you're not a subscriber, then you can just download it for free. No credit card, no nothing needed. It's all yours. All right. Thank you, Eric. Thanks for all you're doing for youth workers, and we will see you all soon.